2026, we are so back. You thought floating hands were good? Bam! You thought fishing was good? Bam! You thought the cooking was good? Bam! You thought the interface was good? Bam! I spent every single day of last year working on what seemed like an endless mountain of to-do items. My life was wake up, go to my 9 to 5, come back home, work out, work on the game, go to sleep, wake up, work, home, work, sleep, wake up, work, sleep, work, sleep. And you know, some people might look at my diminished uploading schedule and worry that I took the easy way out and I gave up. But honestly, there is nothing easy about giving up. After you do something for this long, the worst outcome isn't even failing anymore, but being on a cliffhanger and having no closure whatsoever. So for the people who asked if I stopped working on this project, unfortunately, you must be out of your goddamn mind. I have tons of updates, and this is the longest video I have ever made, so here's a list of all of the chapters. You can feel free to skip to the parts that excite you the most, or you can join me on the full journey to unpack all what has been done. This is Sword Islands, and this is episode 14. I have so much caffeine in my system. Hello there. So, one of the biggest and most requested features since I uploaded the first episode, I think, was a full body IK or a full body for the player. Ta-da! Here you go. I mean, to be fair, Sword Islands already had the full body IK. It was just like, for you, floating hands, but when you look at other players, you will see their full body IK. And I did that split for a lot of problems, mostly sluggish wrists. Sometimes the hands are stretchy or wobbly. Let's just say I want to climb this. As you can see, if I try to push myself so far from it, because the hands are locked in a physics way with the object, sometimes the wrist, you know, can get a little bit, just a little bit too stretchy. However, I think it's unnoticeable. I mean, not unnoticeable. I mean, it is noticeable. But I just think that it's not something that I want to spend 5 months trying to rewrite the entire hands physics to fix. Okay, editor me from the future here. I just realized while watching this, while editing it, that I can just detach the hand while I'm climbing when this happens. What? I kind of like how the legs kind of like imitate the motion of climbing. And it goes like upward or downward depending on the thing. But yeah, you get it. As you also can see, we got some cloth sim going on when I move around. It's definitely performance costly a little bit, so maybe I will make it so that you can disable it in the settings or something like that. Also, it's hybrid, so like when I move around in my spot, it's fully IK, but when I move around using the joystick, it's actually animations that drive the legs. Another thing is that later you will be able to kind of like change the preset and the colors of the outfit. These are like the default colors that kind of came with the asset. Take it with a grain of salt. I'll have to make different colors later. So yeah, you maybe in the capital you'll be able to like go to a tailor and he will be able to change maybe like preset that you have. Maybe also like the helmet, who knows. It's just like a little bit adjustment, so like if you are playing in a co-op party, you can tell like who is who. And yeah, that's kind of it for the body IK. I also had to adjust like the dashing so it matches the new character. You can see that it follows also the hands, the particles at least. Yeah, it's kind of cool, and I'm happy with it. Today, we're gonna be doing a quick surgery. I think the motherboard battery ran out. It's been like, I don't know, 6 years, 5 years. I forgot when I got it. So we're gonna do it. This is bad. I need to clean it. It's been like 4 months since I cleaned it. So, I googled it, and of course, it is under the GPU. Because why wouldn't it be? So now I have to take my GPU, which is 2070 Super RTX, very old by now, before you ask, and replace it. Got the second one. Basically unplug it from here. There we go. And now we can see our main antagonist. I personally don't know which one is better, but I just like googled it and they were like, get Duracell Pro Cell or whatever. So we'll see if it will last for a while or if it's gonna just do the same bullshit. All we have to do now is get rid of the older one. Okay, this thing doesn't want to get out. Look at this.
use the new one. ProCell. Wait, what was the other one? KTS. That was like some default shit. There we go. And now let's turn it on and hope for the best.
Follow us for part 2 on how to fix PCs. Combat, everyone. Let's talk a little bit about the combat. Not much has changed because we are already like approaching the version 1.0, which is good news, by the way. That means we are getting more and more ready to actually have something playable. Although another cleanup that I have done is basically splitting the values. We have now slashing attacks and piercing attacks and striking attacks. Striking attacks are for later, those for weapons like hammers and axes maybe. However, between normal swords we have two types, basically the slashing attack and the piercing attack. As you can see, there is like a cool wind particle that happens when you do a piercing attack. It's a little bit transparent, so I don't know if you can like notice it. It's a little like wind. It's a little like this wind effect that happens. It's just when you see that, that means you are doing a piercing attack. Like you can actually damage. A piercing attack causes 82 damage, while a slashing attack causes 134 for this sword. That's because double-edged swords are better at slashing than piercing. But for example, if I switch to a rapier weapon, which is better at piercing, you can see that piercing is 74, while slashing is 46. So with this weapon, for example, piercing deals more damage. You can also, like for example, with this one, charge the pierce attack, which is a really cool attack, and it fits perfectly with the rapier vibes, you know. Now, another thing that I added, which is a bit of a scope creep and it might not last forever, is basically being able to damage things with your own hands. So if you close your hands and you hit fast, you can see like this wind effect, and that's a sign that you are basically throwing in. Now you can hit normally to the.
Why you bully me? You fucking bitch.
You can hit normally, which is a jab, but you can also like hit like an uppercut. So like that, an uppercut, and then we got a right hook, and we got a left hook, and we got a downward strike. So in short, you can now throw hands in Sword Islands because swords are overrated.
Hairline check. Fuck, I'm balding.
Another thing that I worked on in Sword Islands is harvestables. Now there's like tons of different plants that I can show, but I don't want to go like in details about every single one of them. However, you can see that we have like different kind of things like mushrooms, herbs, vegetables, things like carrots and the like. I think this one was ginger. Now harvesting ingredients can be done by basically slashing them with a sword, and the item will pop and you will be able to collect it. You can like farm as much as you want. Not gonna lie, getting addicted to it real quick. If hitting things with the sword is not your style and you want more manual approach, you can actually just use your hand and just punch the plant that you want. Like this. Like if you want to go like Minecraft mode, you can do that. And another crazy way of doing it, which is if you want to be like over the top, is you charge a blade dart, preferably a projectile blade dart, and you can just cut through it. So satisfying. Look how much loot. And now we're gonna collect them all. You can see like we got so many items. You can see that some of them have like different colors. This one's purple, this one's like teal or blue. Materials come in different rarities. That will also change kind of like the impact that you will have when cooking them. There are also trees like apples and I think a banana or a few other fruits that you will have to like hit the tree. After hitting it a couple times, it will probably drop the fruit. Yeah, I just wanted to showcase the part about the harvestables, and this is how it works basically. Another way of obtaining items in Chest Island, I almost said Chest Island, Another way of obtaining items in Sword Islands is using treasures or chests. You can basically like interact with them by walking forward and just like hitting this, and it will open the chest and you will get the items. So you can see like these rays of lights coming from the treasure. It was like a cool touch to just add like this mystic feeling. There are two types of loot. So there's like the loot that you just saw, which is like you open it and it just pops and you can collect it. But there's also another one, which is the type that you cannot see like the icon of the thing. This one will be used mainly for things like, let's see, armaments, maybe blade arts or tokens. Basically items that do not have a 3D model that I would like to like, you know, have an icon of in this way. While other ingredients and items will just have the classic icon. But yeah, that's basically it for treasure chests. Now let's talk about the fishing. Fishing has been enhanced as well. I have a gadget tab, you spawn the fishing rod. By the way, this is a new fishing rod model. I modeled it myself, it's not an asset that I found. I actually modeled it myself from scratch. I'm really happy with how it looks. I think beside the hook is like an abomination of like multiple assets combined together. However, the fishing rod itself is made from scratch, but you can also see that now I have these like physics rope simulation for the thing. It's not a line renderer anymore, because it used to be just like a simple line renderer. This feels so much more satisfying. The minigame itself has also got quite a rework. I changed the slider that appears with like a circle that expands and gets smaller. There we go. You see how the circle expands and gets smaller, and if you don't do anything, obviously it will bust. But then you can just cast it again. The sounds are also so satisfying of the casting. You can hear it. Sounds so good. There we go. And apparently I got an octopus. Try it again. As you can see, also I got rid of that panel that you have to like accept the fish with. Now it just automatically stores it in your inventory. I think it's so much simpler this way. Like you don't have to accept every fish. Of course you want the fish. You can also notice a bit of a change in the water shader where there's like light reflection from the sun that actually does not exist. There we go. There's also water particles dripping from the fish that you caught. I think it's also like, it gives it that feeling that it actually came from water and it's not just a flat surface. You can also see that sometimes the speed in which the circle is scaling up and down is different. That's because it's random each time to like not make it boringly easy every time to capture the fish. And yeah, that's about it for the fishing. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my first day on the vacation, and I already have to cook my own food because no one is home. Everyone is on a vacay except me working on the game. Now you might think I'm just some tech guy, uncultured swine. Swine, was it? Now you might think I'm just some tech guy. You might be a little bit right, but I'm also a 5-star chef, and that's why I will have to prove it once and for all, for everybody, that I'm not gonna burn the house down. Hopefully. See, I can turn it on. I just turned it on. I bet you don't know how to turn it on. Just put them here. While it might not be 5 stars, I think it's enough to beat the allegations that I won't survive if I had to cook for myself. Looks destroyed, but I hope it tastes better than it looks. Yes, it does. Because I made it, not because it's good. Cooking. I mean, where do I even start? From the new 3D model of the cooking station. By the way, beside from the fire, I modeled the actual thing myself. And the texture is like, I don't know. To be fair, something to be proud of. It looks like a scratch steel, giving it this like cozy vibe. You can also see that there are some bubbles. I don't know, indicating some witchcraft. I don't know. It's just cooking, okay? As you can see, like when I move around, there's like this indicator pop up, which is like the new interaction system with with the 3D items in Sword Islands. Basically, you can click it, and it will show you your inventory items, or at least the cookable ingredients within your inventory. If you go back, it will just like close by itself. Even the popping of the thing has like a cool animation to it. I don't know if you can notice it. There's a recipe system, primary items, secondary items, bonus items. I will get into how the recipe mechanic works in a second. But for now, I just want to showcase the visuals of the cooking and how everything looks. By the way, every time you click on an item, it will play a different sound when it interacts with the oil or whatever. So like, give it a listen. So satisfying. It's so satisfying. Not to mention that you can also now see the 3D models actually of the items you are putting in the pan. And if I use my spectator and I zoom here a little bit, you can see it's like orbiting within the soup or within the oil, which giving it like this. I don't know. You can tell that it's like liquid. It's better than if it was static. Making the shader for the soup was also kind of a lot of fun, because it's almost like a water shader, but it's not really water. You have two options, one to start the cooking, one to decline or discard all of the items. Let me cook something. I don't know, let's just put like 2 chicken, let's put some lettuce or vegetables in there. I don't know, just 2 more lettuce. So like we have this mixture. And we can just like hit this button to start the cooking. Watch this. Ta-da! I don't know, man. I really like it. And like, look at this. I'll eat that. You can also put it in your inventory. It's like roasted chicken. But I think if you put 2 of this, if I remember correctly, 2 of this, or like 2 and 1 here. Now because with the butter, you can get like a stew instead. You can eat it by just like dragging it to the camera, or you can like store it in your inventory. Right now the buffs do not work because I did not write the buff system yet. However, if you eat it, usually you will get like a health restoration or like a little buff, and you can see it on your HUD like down there. Now obviously if you put items that do not belong together and you just hit the cook, you will get like a bust, which is like a stinky meal. You have like green gases coming from it. And yeah, that's basically it for the visual part of the cooking. We can talk about the backend or the system in depth now on how the calculation happened. So for the cooking backend and the logic, I quickly put together this website to make like a visual representation of how the system works. It's easier to explain and it's easier for myself to like have a list of all of the recipes possible. Here are the recipes. Let's just take, for example, apple pie as an example. The base ingredients that you need to make an apple pie are apple, dough, butter, and sweet root. These are the bare minimum. Dough, butter, and sweet root. Sweet root is sugar, basically. So if you put all these 4, by the way, the max you can put is 5. So if you put these 4, you get apple pie. Slightly increase item discovery for 10 minutes. Now if you read the description again, it says optional is apple, butter, or sweet root. So you can add to it, like let's just say we add an apple. Now it's an apple pie plus 1. And what decides that it's a plus 1 is the tier of the optional item. Because I used an item that has the tier of C, it's just plus 1. Now let's see what other items can we use. We can use apple, butter, or sweet root as optional. So now, if you look here, sweet root has the tier B. So if I add sweet root, now I have 2 sweet root. Now it's apple pie plus 2. Basically, the multiplier has increased. Let's take another example. Let's see. Okay, mushroom arroz. So basically, you have to add mushroom and rice, and then you can add spices if you want. Let's see. So let's just do like 1 of this. And then rice, where is it? Here it is. So here we go, we have mushroom arroz. Now if we add more rice, if we fill all of the slots with rice, it will be plus 6. Because the rice rarity is B. However, if we fill all of them with mushroom instead, it will be +3 because the mushroom has a lower rarity, or at least this type of mushroom. And the multiplier will be +4. Increase striking damage by 10% for 6 minutes. So you kind of get the idea. We have base items, the bare minimum to make the recipe, and then we have an optional items to boost the recipe. And that's how basically the cooking works. I think we have 87 different recipes in total for now. And by the way, all of them are actually 3D modeled and ready. Most of them are assets that I outsourced, just mixed them, and I had to modify so many things, the textures, the art style to fit the game. Like, if you look at it like this, they look like uniform thing, like they actually belong together. However, literally every single model, or mostly every other model, came from an entirely different place. It was so much work. Like, this on its own took forever to make, along with like the different kind of like fishes, different kind of harvestables, and it's funny here you have like the milk and the yogurt and stuff like that. Because like you have to also make the variation of the model when you take it, but also when you put it inside the pot, how it will look inside the pot. For example, like salt will look like this when you collect it, but it will look like this when you put it inside the pot. It's there's a lot of work went into it. It's like the watermelon will look like this, but inside the pot it will look like this. And that's really it for the cooking. Thank you for making it so far in the video. This is your kindly reminder to wishlist the game on Steam. Wishlisting the game on Steam is probably one of the most primary and important ways that you can support this project and everything that you saw in the video. There's like a lot of milestones that I would like to achieve with the wishlist count that could dictate where this project is going. More on that later at the end of the video. But first, I would also thank the loyal supporters on Patreon. A lot of you guys stayed there and supported even though I'm not capable of dropping consistent content there. It's very hard to manage like the YouTube channel devlogs, manage the game itself, and then the 9 to 5 and all of that mess. It's a really big mess. Currently there are no game builds available on Patreon, but as you will see in the end of the video, that will change. I just cannot say when. So feel free to wait it out, or you can you know, throw a couple bucks in there. That's up to you. However, the plans will be discussed at the end of the video when it comes to the roadmap, so stay tuned for that. Thank you everyone, and continue the video. Enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to yap about my favorite part of this update. Finally, it's here. The actual version 1.0 menu. No more changes. This one is the real deal. I recommend before watching the entire video I made about the menu, so you can see like how everything has evolved and got like developed into this newer version. Let's start with the first tab, which is the player stats tab. As you can see, the idea of having diagram of the body still exists within the menu as well. However, this time we have a level and a rank. This is like your rank as an adventurer, and it would change depending on your level. Just like the previous one, the hand will get into this pose to interact with any UI element in the game. It happens automatically, so I don't have to press any buttons. Down here, there is the vessels that you can switch between. You can spawn them like this, and then you can like use them to, you know, gain HP or gain MP. You can spawn 2 of this, 1 of this, just to show you how it works. If I open this, now you can see that I only have 1 green for the health and 2 for the focus, and the rest are empty, and I can like put them back in my inventory and they will refresh. Down here we have the attributes. The attributes did not change much, and on the right you can see the corresponding like impact that those attributes will have. If I go to the upgrade menu, by the way, right now it's accessible to me, but usually you cannot upgrade whenever you want. There are specific like checkpoints where you're allowed to view like this menu, so keep that in mind, but right now I'm just showing it to you. This is the leveling menu. As you can see, it has like this depth effect. There's like this grid in the background that is like moving towards me. It's a really cool effect, and I had to work hard to get it working and moving within Unity. I actually had to make an entire website, and the website was moving, then recorded it, and then turn it into frames. And it was a whole lot of work just to get that effect. Now let's just say I want to upgrade Vigor, for example. I'll basically press the arrow. You can see that the color changed. A new panel has appeared where all of the stats are. The enhanced, like what if I upgrade Vigor, you can see that the HP will get increased to 44. You can also see that the icon got kind of pushed in the Z depth, which is a new enhancement of this menu, we no longer have a flat menu. Everything has depth to it. The buttons have shadows. Even these buttons have shadows. Clicking things, sometimes they move around towards you to give you like this feeling of like three-dimensionality, and this is what's great about VR. So anyway, if I return it back to how it was, you can see that it goes back into being white. Let's say I want to upgrade some stamina, some mind, why not? You know, get that big brain, get that stamina going. So when you're done upgrading, you can see like here the points. If you press this button, it will reset the things that you're upgrading. Or you can press this button and then it will like submit it basically. So, ta-da! You can see that the status bars, like the HP got a little bit longer in here. The level has changed to 107. I was on 80 something. I'm rank A+ now, level 100. Now, moving on, we have the map panel or the map tab. This one you can already tell that it has like a lot of improvements from last time. The buttons that were all around to like navigate around are technically gone. And it has like this like depth effect that is like slightly minimal, but it's really cool in VR to witness. You can see that we have coordinates. These are the coordinates for the player. So you might wonder like, oh, how do you move then? So basically if you zoom in, no need for buttons anymore. You can just drag around using your hand basically. If you hold the trigger button, the system will detect that you are trying to move a scroll view. Otherwise, it won't just like, it won't scroll. So you'll have to actually like hold the trigger button while you're scrolling. And let's just say when I click on this landmark, you can just click on it. You will, this is a placeholder text, but you will be able to see like, read some description about that landmark, view the coordinates of that landmark. Right now everything is set to 0, and a picture maybe. You can also teleport to it, which I'll do in a second. You can see we have like this one and here. And of course in the center I got like the player. It's actually synced to my real location. So let's just say I will actually like move to the lake. Just go to the lake. If I go here, just open the map here. You'll see that right now I'm actually on one of the cliffs by the lake, so it's actually synced, and that happens using the chord system. So now let's say I want to like travel to one of these areas, I can just click on it. Yeah, for example this one, and I can just hit this button, this integration effect for the body, and you'll basically, the player body will respawn. Some regions will not allow you to actually travel or fast travel. Like let's just say you're in a dungeon, you cannot fast travel out of it. If I open now the menu and I go to this one, see, you hear that error sound effect. Let's just say I leave the boundary, just walk a little bit forward. You would know that you left the boundary if you like open the map and it just changed to like another region, like island question mark here in my case, because there's no island yet. So now if I go and press here and teleport, I can just like teleport. Ah, my eyes, it's white. So yeah. And apparently my hand got stuck. Moving on, equipments. I will skip this one for a second because I have to show the inventory first and then get back to equipping things. So let's move on to the inventory. As you can see, we have a giant grid and it's filled with items. Much better than last time because it has the filter option. You can filter by what type of item it is. Right now I have junk, relics, consumables, ingredients, key items, smithing, etc. I don't know why cheese was in smithing. You saw that? Why is cheese in smithing? Okay, don't worry about it. As you can see, some of the items have like this golden icon. That means it's equipped. Or it's used elsewhere in the equipment tab, which we will get back to. If you press on any of the items, you'll get the side panel with the information. As you can see, it has like this popped effect to the Z-depth thing that I talked about previously. A new thing about the items is flags. So each item can have flags. These flags can tell you how you can interact with this item. This item has 3 flags. One that it's consumable, one that it's spawnable, so you can spawn it, and one that is quick equip. So basically you can put it here to quick equip it and easily spawn it during fights like this. So you can just spawn it, put it back in your inventory. Even within the items we have obviously here the filters, the categories, but we also have different kind of items. So I did not want to put them all together. For example, we have armaments, and we have items, we have blade arts, we have tokens, and we have gadgets. Gadgets as previously shown, so it could be like a fishing rod, a torch, a camera, or anything of that kind. Moving on to the armaments part, you can see that there's also like different categories. However, you can see that we have like 3 placeholder items available in the inventory. If you press it, I don't know if you guys noticed this, like it goes like actually like there's a part of the slot that actually goes in, and then another part that comes out, which is the icon, and it just really, I don't know, it's so satisfying to me, especially with these ones too. You can hear different sounds when I press on the item. Here too. Here's more like a metally sound. For example, for the blade darts, it's more like a chip sound, like an SD card or something. These ones are straight metal sound. But anyway, so if you click on any of the items, you will see also the sub panel. Here you can see a preview of the item. It also has like this cool shadow on the plate that just makes it like pop even more. It's also, you know, with that Z-depth effect. It has flags. The flags in the case of an armament are actually the affinities. Those are for the blade darts, like which kind of type of blade darts will work with the item. Down here you can see that we have the armament stats, which is slashing, piercing, posture, critical chance. I'll get to them in a second. Here to the right we have the requirements, which is what is the bare minimum of attributes that you should have to be able to use the weapon. And then the scaling is the tier of scaling that this weapon used to enhance the points. So if you like level up your reflex from here, you will basically be able to obtain more posture breaking points if you use this weapon, because it scales well on reflex. For the shield, it's a little bit different because here it's block rate, stamina usage, and recovery speed. You can see all of the blade darts available. They also have filter. This time it's filtered by the affinity, as you saw by the weapon. You can tell that which ones are equipped by seeing like these little golden pins on top of the icon. I don't know, I just went for that SD card feel, and those SD cards like usually have these like golden pins. This is Crimson Hollow. Apparently it's free of charge when it comes to the focus points, and it's a thrust attack with medium range. It deals 100 damage. A little description. Basically you can equip it onto weapons that support void affinity. Moving on, we have the tokens. These basically are like your buffs. They give you like a permanent buff. Usually other RPGs will have like rings or charms or something like that. In my game it's tokens because again the digital theme. So yeah, that's it for the inventory. If we move real quick to the equipment tab, you can see here everything that has been equipped. We have here the primary weapon or the primary armament, the secondary armament, and then the tokens, and then the quick equip. As you can see here, some of the slots are actually clickable. However, other slots are actually not. That's because they are still locked. You'll basically have to expand your bag by collecting certain items to be able to place more. Let's just say I want to switch from this sword to this sword. This panel will actually open again, the same one from the inventory. However, there are new options. One is to discard and one is to equip. If you just press this, kaboom, the rising blade is now equipped. So you can like just take it now from the back sheath. And as you can see, we have like this new cool HUD element that shows you like which armaments are equipped. So like the right one will be the sword right now. The left one will be the shield. Before this update, the shield wasn't something that it was like sheathable. Like it used to just spawn in on your hands. So for the people who don't want to use a shield, they can now simply like, you know, just go here and choose something else that support dual wielding. And if I do this, I can now have one sword on my right hand and another sword on my left hand, and you can basically do like, you know, dual wielding if that's what you want. Not all swords will support dual wielding, or not all weapons, because it will obviously be, you know, like from a balancing perspective, it will be too OP. So some weapons will support being put in the second slots, but others won't. As you can see, I cannot put the rising blade in the secondary slot. It just does not show in the menu, the same way that a shield does not show in the first menu. So, you know, you'll have to keep that in mind. I did not really like polish the dual wielding yet, so it doesn't work well with the blade arts. However, it's something to keep in mind for later. Tokens, they work in the same way. You can just like click it. Same thing for the quick equip slots. So let's just say I put a burger in here. Now if I switch, I have a burger and I can just spawn a burger and you can just like, mid-combat. Why not? Why not? Now, moving on to the secondary part, it's the blade arts. You can here see like the currently equipped armament. You can only equip blade arts on your primary hand weapon. So for now it's like the Rising Blade. And as you saw, the Rising Blade supports these affinities, Rupture, Surge, and Thermal. Every blade art that you will want to put here should support these affinities. And on the left side, you can actually see the position that you should be, the pose that you have to do to activate that specific blade art. It's direction based. So like if you hold the sword to the right, you activate this one. I can demonstrate it. So like just take the sword. Here's the chest blade art. Or the neutral. If I do overhead, I can activate the projectile one, you know. And if I... was this left? Oh, right. If I do it to the right, I'll activate the surge one. Or just like... I think this one's a damage boost. So yeah, that's kind of how the system works. It's nothing complex. Nothing changed when it comes to that. It's just like the way the information is displayed to the user. That's kind of what changed. That summarizes most of what's important so far in the menu. This one is for the quest, or like it will be like your log. Same for networking. This will also be filled when, you know, we have networking. And then last but not least is just like the settings. That's literally the last thing you do in the game, because everything right now is hard-coded within the code. But you'll imagine like you'd have to like click on one of them, and then you can like toggle things or like choose from selection or play with sliders. And over here we have the logout screen. Ooh, I forgot that I made like a cool little animation that for the hourglass. It looks really cool. And then like here, 2 options to log out or exit the game. I don't know, man. I'm really proud of how the vibes, you know, have shifted when it comes to this look. Like, it looks more glassy. It looks more clean. It was like this, but now it's like just more elegant, and I don't know, I find it to be cooler. Now I want to talk about the best aspect of this new design for the menu, and probably one of the coolest features I ever made, which is changing the theme of the menu. Yes, you can change every single color that you see, or at least most of the colors that you can see in the menu. So when the game is released, you can just go to the app data of the game and you'll find all of the themes available, and you can make your own custom theme. And as you can see here, it's just an XML file. So like, you can modify every single value. I'll probably write a quick tool that will allow me to like turn this into, you know, like an external tool to select the colors, and you can see like in live preview what is changing. But you can modify these as values, and you can have like almost everything, like the colors, the transparency, how the buttons interact, all of it. And you can see here in Unity, it translates into a scriptable object that I can export and import, and you can load that inside the game as well. I'm gonna give you an example of what can happen. So like, we got so many different themes already. Like this is the default theme right now, but let's just say I wanna load the blue screen of disappointment. And I can just apply the theme, and you can see like the entire thing change. And there are tons of themes. I'll probably have a bunch of presets that will be implemented with the game itself, with the game files. And you can change it from the settings, obviously. But you can also make your own. So I wanted originally to have it in a way where every single person who plays the game to have their own style, to have their own theme, especially if you're like a YouTuber or a streamer and you have like a certain branding to do so. You can even change the gradient angle, like as you can see, like even the lighting on the menu can be changed. So it's really handy, and I cannot wait to see like what you guys can come up with when it comes to the colors and the combinations. There is so many different options that you can come up with, and it's a really cool and handy feature to have, I think. Ever since the development started, a lot of people have been asking about a roadmap or a plan of some sort for the release. You want a roadmap? Here is your roadmap. 1 year. This is all I have left in my tank to give. And I'm not talking from like a motivational aspect, but more when it comes to the funding. I cannot spend 5 more years of my life chasing a project that would not be financially beneficial whatsoever, and spending my entire like 20s on one thing kind of seems like a waste. Now, don't get me wrong, I love this game. I love this project more than any other project I ever worked on. Like, this project has literally every single idea that I would like to see in a video game embedded within one place. So, like, there is nothing I want to work more on than this project. Worst case scenario, the project does not work out. I will probably pick it up as a hobby project, but then you expect it to be released in 2077, like for real. So I said I want to give it 1 year, but what does that mean? How will I know? How will I validate if the project is working out or not working out? Well, I have certain metrics in my mind when it comes to the wish list counts, when it comes to the online visibility. However, the big validation will happen when a demo get released. I mean, it's so fair that nothing works out until something is out there. You cannot really give up on something when you're just like developing it by yourself. It's your secret. Therefore, here is the condition. Inshallah, by the end of 2026, which is this year, a playable demo, a playable build will be available online. Now, I cannot tell you if it's going to be straight up on Steam, or if it's going to be like a Patreon exclusive, or if it will be like a part of a festival or something. I cannot promise you anything. That will depend on the schedule and the planning when it comes to that. However, what I know is, unless, God forbid, something happened like sickness or apparently World War III, or I don't know, we got nuked, I'm gonna do my best to get this build ready by the end of this year. So all of you can play whatever it is that it might be. If it doesn't have to be finished, it doesn't have to be ready, it doesn't have to be super polished, it doesn't have to be perfect. What it has to be is something that is out there for people to try. That way this project doesn't remain a secret for me and to this YouTube channel, but I actually get like a source of truth to validate if this project is going anywhere that is rewarding for all of the years I spent. And again, I'm not hoping to become like a gazillionaire out of this project. This is not the goal. But like at the end of the day, I don't want to spend 6 years of my life on something that will only get 2 Steam reviews at the end of the day and just like shrug it off like nothing just happened and move on to the next project. In that way, I will be really engaging in a sunk cost fallacy, and I'll have this mindset of like, I worked all of these years, so I might as well keep going, when in reality, it's not really rewarding. So again, the condition is very simple. 1 more year of development. I'll give it my all. I'll give it all of my efforts, so I cannot say, or no one else can tell me that I quit. I can also like look at myself in the mirror and be totally fine with it. I gave it my all. So let's hope that by the end of 2026, which is this year, I have a playable build ready, no matter what the quality might be, but that I can actually validate where this project is going. Does the market really need this project? Do people really care? Is this dream of like this VR RPG game that is like hyper polished and it has like the sword skills and all of that, is that dream still alive? We will find out. We'll find out. Me and you, we are part of the journey together. So I hope this does not disappoint anyone. I think it's a realistic approach. I don't want to give up. At the same time, I don't want to be fully irresponsible with my life. So yeah, I'm gonna give it my all. Thank you for watching. This was a very long episode, so if you made it this far, actually, I'm flattered. But see you guys in the next episode. Later.